Alright, what's good YouTube? It's Aurzyn DF, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys the best guard build on NBA 2K22. Now, with Christmas just around the corner, you know what I mean, we're 4 days until Christmas. Today is December 21st. I know there's going to be a lot of new players playing, and I just want to give you guys the best guard build for all the new players, and even if you're still a returning player, this is going to be a great build for you. This is one of the easiest to use builds in all of 2K, and really anyone can kind of just get good on this build. I'd say it's probably one of the best beginner builds out there, especially if you're trying to learn how to play guard. This is definitely one of the best beginner builds out there. But anyways, I'm going to be showing you guys some gameplay in this video of this build. I'm going to talk over it, and then I'm going to show you guys how to make the build quickly at the end. But with all that being said, I don't want to waste too much more time with the intro. Make sure to hit that sub button, make sure to drop a like, and let's get straight into the video. Alright guys, so the build in this gameplay and the build we're going to be talking about today is going to be the playmaking shot creator. Now this is probably one of the most common builds in all of NBA 2K. It was a very popular build in NBA 2K21, and because of that it has moved to being a very popular build still in 2K22. But with this build you're going to have a high 3-point rating and a high ball control rating, which makes it a very good beginner build. For beginners, I would recommend not having a low 3-ball build, just because having a high 3-ball, especially in this game, just allows you to make almost every single shot. Having a low 3-ball, you have to be very good at the game, and you have to practice a lot in order to be able to hit on that low 3-ball. But if you are, let's say you're not a beginner, this build is still very good because it has such a high skill cap. Not only is this a good beginner build, some of the best players in the game use a play shot just because it's one of the best builds for threes, and most of the competitive players on this game play threes. However, this video is aimed a little bit more towards the casuals, you know, the people that are just getting the game. And one thing, the most important thing I already talked about, is make sure you make a build with a high 3-pointer. That's the one thing I would recommend. That's one of the most important things to do for NBA 2K, and especially if you're a new player, having a high 3-ball is going to help you out so much. So with the playmaking shot creator, not only do you have a high 3-ball, you also have a high ball control, which can allow you to learn how to dribble. And learning how to dribble, honestly, was one of the most fun things to do, like back when I was a casual myself. I used to remember going to the my court and trying to learn how to dribble, so you guys could do that too with a build like this. But overall, with, you know, like with the high 3-ball of this build and the high ball control, it just makes it a very good build. And overall, the playmaking shot creator pie chart is just a very overpowered pie chart. You think of a build that can dribble, get itself open, and then also literally pull from half court and like fade threes. Like it's just a really overpowered build in my opinion. Even comparing it to other builds that are overpowered in the game, like the play shot, just what it does is just overpowered in itself. So I would definitely recommend this build to anyone new to the game, anyone like that. But I mean, you guys could see in these clips how really overpowered this build is. Obviously, I'm a lot more of a skilled dribbler. Someone who's just getting on the game is not going to be able to do what I'm doing right now. But honestly, with how easy this game is, this game 2K22 is very easy, and really anyone can use this build and anyone can learn to do what I'm doing in these clips. So I wouldn't say it's too far away, even if you are a new player to the game. Obviously, that's what this video is aimed for. It's aimed for new players, but even if you are a returning player, this is still going to be a fantastic build and probably is the most overpowered guard build. You have builds that can do a lot, but this build is just so good at doing one thing, or two things actually, that it just makes it so much better in my opinion. Obviously, you have the two-way playmakers. They do a lot too. Like they're pretty like solid all around, but to be able to do a lot with those builds, you have to be very good at the game. A play shot, you can be very bad at the game and still be very good with a play shot, and it kind of scales up too. So the better you get, the better you are with the play shot. It's just a lot easier to use a play shot than to use a two-way. Really, it's all about that 3-ball, like I was talking about earlier. It's all about that 3-ball. If you have a low 3-ball, it's very hard to shoot unless you're like good at the game. If you know what you're doing, it's easier, but if you don't know what you're doing, it's very tough. But that's really all I have to say about this build, and kind of my tips for beginners when making a build, and kind of the do's and don'ts for making a guard build, especially if you are new to the game. But that's about it for the gameplay, and let's go ahead and talk about how to make the build. Alright guys, so hopping into the builder right here. The position is going to be a point guard. Handedness, I like my players right-handed, but you guys can choose whatever you want. Handedness does not matter, so choose whatever you want. Jersey number also does not matter, so I'm just going to hit continue. So the pie chart for this build is going to be the half green and the half yellow. Now the reason we are picking this pie chart over for say this one, which has more shooting, obviously the green is shooting, you guys can see, but the reason we're picking this build right here is because you get Hall of Fame playmaking badges. If you don't have at least half of a pie chart in your build, you don't get Hall of Fame playmaking badges. So we want to get Hall of Fame playmaking badges and Hall of Fame shooting. So we're picking the half-half. That's honestly the most important part of the build. Now for physical profile, we need the fastest build, which is the top one, the very first one. You can see agility. We want the most agility right there, the highest speed, and that's what we pick. So for this build right here, the two most important categories are obviously going to be shooting right here. We want to get as much shooting as possible. So you can see right here we have 25 shooting badges, and I might come back to this after we're done to adjust everything. Maybe get one less shooting, one more defense, something like that. But for now, just max out shooting. Then next is going to be playmaking. We want to max out playmaking because these are the two most important categories. Shooting and playmaking are the two most important categories, and they really are the ones that make this build super elite and super overpowered. Now the finishing with this build is gonna be, no matter if you upgrade it or not, is gonna be pretty weak. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on defense, defensive rebound, steal, lateral quickness, perimeter defense, and you can see right here I have all those stats upgraded, but I'm actually gonna go down until I still have 7 defensive badges. So you can see right here at the 38 to 39 mark, I lose 1 defensive badge, so we want to keep 7, and then with our last 42 we're gonna put it on driving dunk and driving layup. Like I said, like, you're really not going to be finishing too much with this build. We literally just have these attributes right here just to kind of like, you know, help at the end. But honestly, it's just like, finishing is not the most important thing. You really can just go no finishing if you don't want to. But like, I like having a driving dunk in case I do have to like drive to the basket, you know. Driving dunk is nice, so I do put a little bit on finishing, but it's not enough to get a badge, and it's not really worth it to put enough to get a badge. But if you guys do want more defense, the main thing I would suggest doing is probably taking your playmaking down to about 21 badges, I'd say. So you can see right here, you can take all the post control off, and that's it. But then you can upgrade block, offensive rebound, and you can get an extra defensive badge, which I think honestly is probably not worth it. You can probably also take a little bit off shooting like this. You can see, yeah, perfect. I took 5 off shooting. I still keep all my shooting badges, and I can put that on defense and get an extra badge. So just like that, I changed the format from 125 24/7 to 125 21/9. And honestly, defensive badges are important, but I don't know if I would lose 4 or 3 playmaking badges, excuse me, for this extra defensive badge. So what I would actually do is go ahead and do this. Okay, so I was looking around and I was adjusting it, and this is actually what I would go with right here. I would go 125 23 8, and with this you basically lose a playmaking badge but you gain a defensive badge. Having that extra defensive badges are limited and you only have 8 of them, so you have to make them count. And honestly, one more defensive badge is honestly, I think, more important than one more playmaking, but I don't think it's worth sacrificing a bunch of playmaking badges just for only one more defense. So that's why I went with this right here. It's kind of a balance of everything, you know. So we have our shooting, we have our playmaking, and we have our defense. Those are the 3 most important things. Honestly, I'm telling you, the finishing does not matter on this build. You're not going to be finishing that much with this build anyway, and just make sure you have the shooting, playmaking, and defense upgraded. This is what I would recommend right here. If you guys want to adjust it a little bit, I would say go for it, but I'd say this is the base right here, the baseline of what you guys should do. So moving on to the body shape, honestly, if you like your guard like huge, like you just have a problem. You just have a problem. So I like slight or compact. I probably like compact the best. It just looks really weird when your guard's player is just like huge. Like it doesn't look nice. Trust me. Okay, so for height, I am in the metric system, but I've looked up the conversion, so I have it right here for you guys. It's going to be 1.86 is going to be about 6'1". I would recommend being somewhere from 6'1" to max, I would say probably 6'4" on this build. I don't think you should even go 6'4". I think 6'2", 6'1", 6'3", even 6 foot. Those are where you should be at with this build. It's kind of preference. If you like being tall, more defensive oriented, I would say go taller. And if you like being fast, you don't really care about defense, I would say go shorter. But honestly, if it was me, if I was a new player, I would say go more towards defense because you're going to struggle a little bit more on defense if you're new to the game. If you're more advanced, I would say you can go shorter and get away with it because you're still going to be able to get stops. And at that point, once you're really, really good at the game, you guys can kind of just do whatever you want on offense. You're not going to give the ball up too much, so your offense matters more. So 1.86 is about 6 feet 1 inch. Right here, so I would probably go somewhere like 1.84 for me to like 1.9. 1.9 is about 6'3", so this is probably the max I would go. So obviously you guys are probably going to be in the Imperial system, so I would say 6'3" is the max I would go, and about 6 foot is the minimum I would go. But like I said, beginner, I would say go taller. But with that being said, I'm probably going to go around 1.86 with this build, which is about 6'1". And with this, you're going to want to put the weight all the way down. You want the speed to go up, and the wingspan, you're going to put it all the way to the bottom. It doesn't even matter about the current versions on the weight and wingspan. Just put it all the way to the minimum. You're going to want minimum weight, minimum wingspan on this build. It gives the highest speed and the highest 3-point, and that's what we're looking for. So with that, wingspan all the way down, and now you have 3 takeover options. Whatever you do, do not put playmaking takeover on your build. Now you can put shot creating, however I would not recommend it. Sharp takeover is just going to be the best one right here, especially when you have the badge chef on. It is going to allow you to shoot from super deep and just have a lot of fun on this game. You guys saw me do it a couple times before, but just put sharp badge. Sharp badge is the best one. Put sharp badge, and you can see it comes out as a playmaking shot creator. And I'm going to show you guys the badges you guys want to use. And if you guys do want my jump shot, I have a video on that. It should be about like 5 videos back on my channel. Just go to my channel. It should be about like 5 videos back. And I do have my dribble moves videos, which is literally just like 2 videos back. So go look at those if you want dribble moves and jump shot. But I'm going to get into the badges real quick, and I'll show you guys the exact badges I use on a play shot. Now for finishing, it doesn't really matter. I probably just put like limitless takeoff on. Shooting right here. So we want chef. Like I talked about it earlier, chef is a really, really good badge. Hot zone, sniper. Now these 2 badges right here are even better than chef. Chef is kind of like a fun badge, like you want to put it on if you want to have fun. You shoot from deep. But sniper and hot zone, sniper is gonna light up, pretty much make any single like mistimed shot. So like any slightly early or slightly late, it's gonna probably go in because of sniper. And then hot zone hunter, it's just like the biggest boost you can possibly have in order to all your shots. So put that on. Stop and pop is also a very, very good badge. Green machine, not too important, but I put on like silver. And then blinders and deadeye are 2 very, very important badges. You can put them up higher if you want, but I like to run them on silver. And for finally, you can put on like mismatch expert, difficult shots, or you can just like upgrade these badges right here. So maybe I'll put on like gold deadeye and Hall of Fame blinders. And this is probably something similar to what I would run myself. I'd probably run this exact lineup, but if you guys do have a specific badge you guys want, you can always adjust that or put it on something else. Now moving on to the playmaking badges, the most important badges are going to be quick chain, quick first step, and handles for days. You're going to make sure all of those are on our Hall of Fame. The next one is going to be unpluckable. I wouldn't put this too high, maybe like silver, bronze or silver. Now the next one is going to be bullet passer. You don't need this anything higher than bronze. I see a lot of people, especially if you're just playing park, you don't need this higher than bronze. I see a lot of people like overrate this badge, like you need a Hall of Fame, but you gotta remember you already have a 90 pass accuracy, and your passes are also going to be very quick already, so you don't need to put this too high. I would say bronze. You don't waste too many badges that way. Bailout is going to be a badge you're going to want to put on bronze. This is going to allow you to pass out of shots and not turn the ball over. You don't need to put out anything higher than bronze, in my opinion. Bronze just works just fine, but make sure you have it at least on bronze. And now you have 7 playmaking badges left, and there's a couple things you can do right here. Now the first one, this is what I would do just because I'm a good teammate. I would go in and put on floor general and dimer possibly. Now if you guys do want to put on hyperdrive is another good badge. I would maybe do something like this. This is probably what I would run if I was just like playing with someone who I knew didn't need dimer. Make sure you have at least the handles for days, quick first step, and quick chain. The other badges are necessities like like bailout, bullet passer, and pluckable, but just lower levels. And then the last 7 badge points I have with this build are kind of flexible. Hyperdrive and floor general are be the ones I would go to. If you want to put ankle breaker, you can, but ankle breakers are they're not that good in this game, so I wouldn't recommend putting those badge points on it. And everything else is just like, it's just not as good as those badges that I have on right now. So these are definitely the badges I would recommend. And finally, for defense right here, you don't have too many, but you want to split them out kind of evenly. So you want intimidator, You want gold clamps. You want maybe a bronze interceptor, a bronze rebound chaser, maybe a bronze chase down. Like, you want to spread it out to make these 8 badge points go further. Bronze chase down is very, very underrated. Put that on. Bronze rebound chaser, just, you might snag the occasional rebound. Gold clamps, necessity. Silver intimidator, necessity. And bronze interceptor, it's going to help you get the occasional lane steal. Everything else, not too much to worry about, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to do much else. But those are the defense badges. That's going to be about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it helps you out, especially if you are new to the game. I'm trying to help every single person out here by making this video and show you guys the best guard build, the best whatever you need. You know, just trying to give you guys every single thing you possibly need if you are new to the game, or even if you're not new to the game. Like I said, that's going to be about it for this video. Make sure to hit that sub button. Make sure to drop a like. And I'm out, man. Peace.